And this looks like it's going to be another long clip. Again, technically speaking, there can't be too much more left in this game. But there's still a decent amount of footage left for us to go through. And, well, considering my current fatigue, yeah. Okay, that feels more like something I would expect from the original Super Mario Bros. Game. Not a Metroid game. Of course, Mario definitely had more room to jump over the damn fireballs and more time to react to them popping up on screen. And now I feel guilty that I've only ever been able to get into 2 of the various Mario platformers over the decades. Mario 64 and Odyssey. I'll be going through those at some point, but first let's focus on getting through this game. Doesn't seem to be any way to destroy that statue head shooting off fireballs here. Not that destroying it would gain us anything. Right. Of course I jumped back down because I was thinking of trying to destroy the obstacle. We've already found a way around. And yet another path that only the baby can open for us. I'm not even sure why I wasted a super bomb there, since we already know there's only one means to break through those crystals. Well, it's certainly about time we found a toilet around here, and it seems we've got 3 more to take down before we move on. Anyone want to bet just how many Metroids I'm going to get to kill before the clip is done? Well, that's certainly a more high-tech background than on what I was expecting to see this deep into the planet. But then, of course, we're seeing Chozo tech all over the place since this version of events. We've needed to activate Chozo acid toilets just to keep heading downwards. Again, kinda preferred the version where most of what we were seeing were ruins and malfunctioning tech, and when the acid drained, it was because the distant queen was raging hard enough to cause earthquakes. Okay, so we just took all that damage for nothing. Sure, I used a lightning armor to limit the damage, but still another embarrassing moment for me. Followed by more embarrassment due to the combination of a turret and a laser. Oh, you've gotta be kidding me. How the hell are we supposed to destroy that thing if it's outside of our sight range? Definitely no clue why we've got so many crystals around here. I'm not even sure they're actually there to prevent us from reaching something. More like they're there to make us think that there's something along the way for us to try to reach and get mauled for it or something. Right. Of course the only way to open that area is to already be in it. How many times have we seen that over the course of this game so far? Right, another save point, and considering just how much trouble it was to get up here in the first place, we may as well use the save point even if the only progress was climbing up and getting ripped apart. Very much doubt we're gonna keep getting away with screw attacking those lasers. I know it's late in the game, but I still feel a lot of these little moments where we take damage seem kinda cheap, though maybe that's just me bitching for the sake of it this far into the game. I have been known to do that on occasion, though it's a little hard for me to really catch that sort of thing, considering, well, I'm the one doing the complaining. Is it just me, or is the background starting to look a little colder? Okay, nearby Metroid. And of course, it was another T-Rex when I was hoping for a Xenomorph for some reason. Kinda tempted to fast forward for this fight, and probably the next two, just because it's a damage sponge, but part of me says I've already fast forwarded enough, at least for now. Let's see if what we learned from the last Rex was enough for us to be able to take one on in a single run instead of needing multiple different takes. At the very least, we know by its very nature it's going to be easier to deal with than the robot from earlier. Though there are some attacks it's got that are pretty annoying to figure out how to avoid sometimes. Well, that certainly did a number on it. If only it was more clear just what specific number that was. Okay, looks like the counter against the T-Rex looks a lot more aggressive than the ones against the other Metroids. I was kinda hoping to see it look like it was trying harder to kill us as we shot it like the Xenomorph form before it. Still pretty nice to see, though. Of course, if I'd had the sense to prepare the super missiles, we might have had a good deal closer victory after that counter. Wonder why I didn't switch them before this fight like I switched the Ice Beam in. Hell, when's the last time I've used super missiles around here? Well, we're certainly getting used to how this thing moves and attacks by this point. Why is it that the version of it in this game just doesn't feel as scary for me to deal with as it did in AM2R, when it is immeasurably more complicated and drawn out here to fight? It can't be that we've fought plenty of tough monsters just to get this far. I've also fought plenty of monsters back in AM2R before we started running into T-Rexes there too. It can't be the background music at the moment. I don't even remember if there was anything especially scary in the background music in the fan remake, and the music in the background right now feels just about as generic as it gets. Well, okay, so at least the generic music at the moment is clearly trying to go for the whole "it's big and fearsome" feel, but still, it's not doing anything memorable, and it doesn't add anything to what's going on here as far as I can tell. Okay, that time, that combo of attacks did more damage than some of the other times in this same fight. Just goes to show that even when you know what you're doing, you can't always pull it off just right. Two out of the three counters were well timed. Not quite a passing grade, but still reasonable enough. Wish I could tell when it's gonna go for one or two swipes with its claws. Oh, come on! The thing was against the wall! Well, this fight is certainly going to be closer than I'd like it, mostly due to the fact that the fight has been going on for so long and there's only so many opportunities during it to heal. Wait, so not only did my counter miss, the attack missed as well? How the hell did that happen? Yeah, not feeling it for trying to counter this time. And that does it. Another T-Rex dead, and the Metroids are one step closer towards extinction. Doesn't seem to be anything else in this room, and no way further to the left from here. Guess we're heading back towards the save point. Well, at least whatever's on the other end of this tunnel has to be interesting. Didn't think I'd be able to counter that thing, considering we had to take the time to get out of the ball mode first. Was kinda hoping for more than a regular missile expansion, but then I'm always hoping for more than just a normal missile expansion. Maybe it's just the fact that the rocks around here are blue, but for some reason I keep expecting to see some ice somewhere around here. Not that games tend to have all that many ways to convey if an environment is warm or cold outside of absolute extremes. Extremes that wouldn't even affect Samus at this point, since she's literally capable of running through lava unharmed at this stage of the game. Not even sure why I bothered to try, since there's apparently no grapple point on the other side of this. Again, I hate it when the game shows us what looks like a new area, and then immediately makes it impossible for us to get through with what we have. I was kinda hoping we would stop dealing with that sort of thing once we finally had all the major upgrades. We do have all the major upgrades at this point, right? I certainly can't think of anything we might be missing other than the speed booster, and I'm really hoping this game just doesn't have the speed boost at all. Was kind of hoping that would keep leading to the right, but hey, it's always nice to solve a puzzle before you even know it exists, at least in my opinion. Okay, not really seeing the point behind rolling through all those plants. Really? It kept charging its shot even when it was out of our visual range? Right. Another good moment to save and catch my breath for a bit. Well, catch my breath as much as I can at least when this clip still has quite a bit of time left for us to get through. Still, we're past the halfway point, that's gotta be a bit of a relief. A relief that'll probably die the instant I have to get started on the next clip, but that's the nature of the beast. Well, that's an interesting use of grapple points. Wish I could remember if this game has done that before. But a hell of a lot of the game feels like it's blurring in my mind. Granted, less than AM2R since most of the fights are more interesting to go through, but still. We weren't in any desperate need for health, but may as well grab it while we can, especially since we have no clue when we're gonna run into the next major fight. Though maybe it's inaccurate to call fights against Metroid's major fights anymore, since we've had to deal with so many both in this game and the Metroid game we played just before getting to this one. Right, another path that feels impassable for us at the moment. How am I supposed to get through all those crystals without being torn apart? Is there some fresh upgrade we're supposed to find? Or was one of our upgrades not fully explained like so many of the others so far? Certainly a lot of bugs around here. Bugs and various static defenses. Again, I really wish that the enemies around here felt like they reflected something about our surroundings rather than just being slapped into place for the sake of giving us constant obstacles. Huh. I don't think I've ever broken through a floor just as we set a bomb before. I know it's not all that funny of a sight, but it still got me chuckling, and again, part of me can't help feeling I saved a little too quickly since it's not like we did much since last time we saved. It just explored a little more of the map, but Bit of an odd way to give us entrances and exits to a save chamber, but then it's not like this game really has save chambers like every other Metroid game that I know of at this point. Well, I certainly appreciate getting that energy tank, that's for sure. Yeah, we're definitely a damage sponge in our own right by now. If only I felt like we were all that durable compared to the threats we have to deal with. Even with this much health, it's not like we can just outright trade blows with the T-Rex. Granted, when I say it out loud, it's hard to feel all that disappointed by that fact. And it's also hard to feel all that annoyed that the game designers made sure that even this deep into the game, we'd have quite a bit of trouble against the numerous enemies in our path. Again, it's probably just the fatigue this late in the game that's talking. Wish I knew just how many more clips are left in this game at this point. All I know is the raw footage implies there's just over an hour left after we're done with this clip. Of course, there might have been less footage if I ever just got the damn sense to stop trying to kill absolutely every enemy in our path and just chose to avoid these things when there's nothing we want to gain from them. Ugh. May as well check the door before checking that section of wall on the minimap. Yeah, kind of expected to see another block that could only be broken through from the other side. Right, Earth pile laser moving upwards twice in a row. While I'm sure I have been learning things as the game goes on, and I'm pretty sure I'm probably more skilled than I was at the start, it's kind of hard for me to measure that kind of progress. Why is it we're still seeing Metroid shells in that shape when we're facing one of the most mature forms a Metroid can have? Or is that just another question that it's better off not asking, considering how things typically go around here? Right, the next Metroid's probably in there. May as well deal with it, then start hunting for the second to last Metroid in the game. Okay, so I got the room wrong, but at least we still found a second one in this clip. And again, while I may just be bitching about this remake for the sake of it, I can't help being annoyed that the rooms we fight the T-Rex Metroids in back in AM2R felt more varied than the rooms where we fight the same monsters in this game. It's like once the game got to things that couldn't outright fly, the designers felt they should stop trying to be as creative with the combat environments. Ugh. Granted, there wasn't as much variety with the rooms we dealt with the xenomorph types in, but the two flying varieties just had so many interesting little obstacle courses as we shot at them. I'm not even sure why I'm complaining about that, when the gravity suit literally means that we don't have to worry about water or even lava ever inconveniencing us in any way ever again. Though they could still have done something with crystals and those plants. And this is coming from a guy who generally doesn't like environmental hazards. Yeah, when we get to the third and final Metroid for this area, I'm just gonna fast forward through the fight altogether. We've gotten used to dealing with all but the Queen by this point, and while it is awesome to see me doing this kind of damage to a monster this big and tough, for some reason I got tired of dealing with the T-Rex Metroids a lot faster than any of the other versions of Metroid we've seen in this game. Rather odd considering how many times that first one killed us here. It's not like we've fought all that many of these things after all. Add in the fact that the game should have had more Xenomorph Metroids, that probably means there's just something about the T-Rexes in this game that don't let them have the momentum to feel like an especially engrossing fight after you've dealt with 3 or 4 of them, at least in my opinion. Maybe I just prefer fighting fast, vicious creatures more than large and lumbering ones. Okay, so the super bone between the legs doesn't do anything if it doesn't have the extra armor on its chest at the time. Excuse me for hoping that the dramatic explosion near its pelvis would have had more of an effect on the creature we've nearly killed at this point. Well, we've certainly countered the big guy plenty of times here. And that does it. Just one more in this area, and then we move on to the Queen. Not sure if I'm looking forward to that fight right now, or dreading it. I suppose we could leave the same way we came in, or we could check what the alternative exit to this room involves. I somehow doubt we're going to be able to grab anything from it after all. Right, just a very minor shortcut. Not even sure why I don't appreciate it that much. And that should do it for now. Until next time.